Hey, I'm going to share with you one exercise that has been absolutely astounding in terms of its rate of success with couples and partners that I'm working with. The idea here is that there's a lack of intimacy. That's been the last three clients that I've worked with. One of their issues, sub issues with their partners, there's a lack of intimacy. So it's like, okay, well, what they're not necessarily seeing is where the intimacy is at the current moment. So they have this idea about what intimacy is supposed to look like. And when you've been with your partner for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, things change, life evolves, new things become priority, old things that were priority fall away. But if our mind stays attached to the old form, the old priorities, the old things, then that's going to lead to current life resentment because there's an attachment to the old way that intimacy used to be expressed. And so, not that that can't be restored to some degree. I'm not saying that. I just don't think it's the best place to start. I think the best place to start, at least with the success of these last three, is to start with where currently is intimacy and why is that important right now? So, for example, when I was working with this one, I'll give you an example, would be like we have coffee every morning together. Okay, well, that's a form of intimacy. We play with our grandkids together. Okay, that's a form of intimacy. Um, we work outside in our garden together. Okay, that's a form of intimacy. So your definition of intimacy is generally going to be in that realm of sexuality and maybe how you expressed yourself in a previous life or previous years. And so if you're only comparing intimacy on that behalf, you're going to lose because life changes and priorities change and situations change. So the first thing that I start with people on is to recognize where intimacy currently is existing. And I know that knee jerk, like the system's going to be like, yeah, but it's not like this. It's but I want this. And it's like, okay, but let's just start with the maybe the assumption that you're getting what you need in this moment in time. Maybe you're getting what life can provide for you at this moment in time when it comes to intimacy. And maybe it's your inability to be intimate with your environment that is the problem, as opposed to this blanketed label of intimacy. Like maybe how you're perceiving intimacy is the problem. Maybe how you're appreciating current moments of connection, and maybe you're just doing a really lousy job of that. Maybe the fact that when you see your partner in the morning and you lock eyes, that isn't getting classified under your definition of intimacy. Maybe holding hands in the park isn't under your classification of intimacy right now, but maybe that's what life needs of you. Maybe that's what your partner needs of you. Maybe it is more conversation, looking at each other in the eyes, and that's your form of intimacy because that's what needs work. That's what needs to be experienced. So when you come in judging your experience, like blanket label, like I don't have any intimacy, it's not true. It's just not true. It's true that you may not have certain aspects of um, physicality that I'm noticing in a few of these clients. The physicality may not be there, but there is physicality in some respects. And so you're not noticing the eye connections, the handhold, the hug, the kiss, the smooch, the coffee date, the walking in the park together, the walking the dog together, those types of, all of those things are forms of intimacy. But if you don't look for them, if you don't look for all these smaller amounts of it, doing the dishes could be intimacy together. It could be just time. Any time that you come together to some degree, there you're increasing the realm of intimacy. And we think of intimacy as the complete physical lock in, and we have that as that's intimacy. But that's not. It's just any time we're approximating each other is a form of intimacy. It's becoming more and more intimate as you get closer and closer together. So a beautiful cup of coffee where you're looking each other in the eyes, that's a form of intimacy. Um, Walking the dog side by side is a form of intimacy. And now it may not be what you're attached to, but the fact that you're missing these things, and that it's easy because you miss them to be resentful for your current life because you think you're lacking intimacy. I want to really encourage you to look where intimacy already exists, and then where it already exists in these micro, find like 15, 20 ways that you're already intimate together, and then find, why is that serving you right now? Like, why is that important right now for you? Why is that where you're choosing to put your energy right now? You could probably take your partner and whisk them away somewhere if you wanted to, but you're not. So if you're not doing what you think you should be doing, then you better take the time to appreciate what you are doing right now, because you are doing something. And maybe the FaceTime call is the form of intimacy right now. You're doing your best that way. Well, why is the FaceTime call going to, well, because we have different lives, we're busy, and we're trying to connect. Well, maybe the text is the form of intimacy right now. Don't lift the label of what you think intimacy is, and look for evidence in your life of where it is, not if it exists, where it exists. And that little mindset switch is absolutely humongous. If you go from where I don't have intimacy versus where is the intimacy, what form is it in right now, and why is that important right now, you will begin to cultivate that appreciation that you have intimacy in your relationship. And it's in the form that's serving you at this moment in time. So, and then once you can actually appreciate that, then once you're appreciative of it, now you've opened up the energy again and the potential to see you actually are getting your needs met. And now it's like, okay, is there a new way that I'd like to get my needs met? Is there a more novel way that I can get my needs met that matches where we are at right now? Or is it just like a lean into the acceptance? Like, actually, this really works for us right now. And I'm genuinely appreciative that this is the form that intimacy is taking at this moment in time. So don't say you don't have intimacy. You do have intimacy. You're not looking for it. You're not, there's no evidence of it because you're comparing it to an old paradigm, an old way, an old form that you think it should look. Or you've watched some things on social media thinking it should look this way as couples embrace on the beach. And you're like, damn it, I don't have the money to go on a trip, and I don't have I'm not on a beach, and blah, blah. And it's like, well, we don't have intimacy because it doesn't look like this. Well, go find the evidence of where your intimacy is right now. Go find it, track it down, and then see what the value is for both of you right now that it's in that form. Once you free up and liberate that energy, that you're not missing it, it's just somewhere else, you will open yourself to new ideas. That's the key. You'll liberate the energy, new ideas will come, reality will start rearranging itself because you're in an appreciative state for your life as is. And now you get and birth new ideas for where you want to take the next round of intimacy. And maybe you want to add some pieces in. So give this a shot, and let me know how it goes, and hope this video serves you and hope this helps in some way. Take care.